Good morning. Welcome to viewers and listeners. We welcome you to the State House in Dominica as we bring you live the National Day Observance Ceremony. Dominica celebrating 42 years as an independent nation, and it was in 1976 that the then Premier Patrick John in the Salisbury Declaration announced that Dominica would move towards attaining statehood. And 42 years after we are celebrating our independence, we are happy that we are at the State House to bring you live the proceedings this morning. My name is Ivona John Baptist Luge, and I am with Inns of Irish. Inns of Irish, good morning.
Hi, good morning, Ivona John Baptist Luge, and good morning to all the listeners in Dominica and the viewers on television. We're happy to be here at the State House, as you quite rightly said, on the 42nd independence anniversary, and of course Dominica attained independence in 1978. Since then we have moved on, and this year's anniversary, the theme is embracing new opportunities, and certainly how well Dominica have done, taking into consideration the pandemic and so on. And of course we can see a number of our dignitaries already all arrived, and we see some recipients like Honorable Ron Green, Mr. Scotland, and quite a number of other persons. And certainly it's a lovely day on Dominica. Ivona, the sun is out brilliantly. There will be a guard of honor preceding the ceremony in here and the award ceremony. And certainly I think it's a blessed day for Dominica, 3rd of November, Tuesday, 2020.
Certainly, as you said, Inns of Irish, a fitting theme as we observe our 42nd anniversary of independence. And 42 years for any nation and any institution is indeed a milestone, a big achievement, a major achievement. And as I speak, we hear in the background some of the music, cultural music, really providing a nice ambience to the setting here at the State House. A beautiful Tuesday, I must say. For the past week, we have had a lot of rain, but the sun is now out in all its glory and really adding to the spectacle here on Victoria Street as Dominica observes its 42nd anniversary as an independent nation. We are observing this at a time when there are so many challenges that confront us, of course, COVID-19 pandemic and other challenges that we continue to grapple with. But we are resilient people, a proud Dominica, and today we will do it differently in terms of how we observe, but all the same we will celebrate. And I'm looking now at the Music Lovers Government Band, the Government Band of Dominica, putting on a rendition here at the State House.
Yes, indeed, it's a lovely day, as you said, and we can see the young bandmaster, Mr. Later, there, having, taken over from Later, Valina Later, that is. And certainly some 15 persons will be receiving awards here today. We have the Cicero Award, where Stella LeBlanc will be receiving for health and community development, Ron Green for as a politician and community development, Lennox Lawrence, attorney at law for legal services and public sector, and Meritorious Service Award to some 7 persons, Priscilla Prevost, Gregory Rabes, Gregory Shillingford, and so a number of persons will be receiving awards today, some 15 of them in total. And as you quite rightly said, we can see persons beautifully adorned in their Creole wear. Some of the ministers are already in their seats, and certainly it's going to be a lovely affair here today at the State House.
And I have to really make mention again of the Government Band of Dominica, because when you mention the Government Band of Dominica, of course, before we knew it as the Music Lovers Government Band, you have to remember the significant contribution that Hesketh Kazimi played in the formation of this group. He celebrated his 102nd birthday just recently. I think that was on Friday. So we have to say kudos to Hesketh Kazimi.
Oh yes, indeed. And as I speak, I can see the Cabinet Secretary, Mr. Steve Farrell, is already in position, and quite a number of dignitaries are coming.
A number of them are here already.
Yes,
and,
indeed.
As you mentioned earlier, I see Ron Green, who will receive an award this year, seated. And as you mentioned, of course, it's different this year. Normally we'll be at the Windsor Park Stadium, and the bleachers, the stands will be filled. A lot of people, of course, look forward to this activity, but we are doing it virtual this year. It's different, yes, in the sense that, of course, we are not at a setting, all of us
a new
as
normal,
Dominicans.
if you will.
But a lot of people are looking at this, and this augurs well, of course, for national development.
Oh, yes.
And shows the resilience we have taken as a people to, of course, continue to celebrate our independence. We have this inherently unique way of observing independence in Dominica. We go all out. We started on the 4th of October officially. Normally, we would have started in September. but we have always had a long period to celebrate our independence. And of course, this says volumes about what Dominica, the importance, in fact, that Dominica places on its cultural heritage.
Oh, yes, indeed. And looking through the newspapers, I saw His Excellency in his address actually called on God and said that, we should remember God was for yesterday, today, and forever. Well articulated, I think, story there as he wrote his message for the 42nd independence anniversary. And certainly Dominica, coming from the hills of Maria, and of course this ravages there, and of course we have the COVID-19, I think it has been a signal honor that development continues to be the thrust forward, and certainly I think Dominica is on the right footing, and we will hear some exciting news from the Prime Minister, I reckon, when he addresses the nation.
Definitely, we have gone through a lot. I mean, if you have to go back to 2013 when we had this trough system, and then 2015 we were greeted by Tropical Storm America. In 2017, Hurricane Maria. We've had so much to deal with as a nation, and now this emerging challenge, COVID-19, of course, has rocked us to the very core, but we continue to show our resilience in many aspects, in the area of health, in the area of education, and so much other sectors that we have put on our A game and lived up to that challenge.
Oh, yes, indeed. And as we speak, we see some more dignitaries are coming in. The Guard of Honor is already well queued up. We see Inspector Bill Johnson is heading one of the platoons there.
Senior Minister, the Honorable Reginald Austri making his entrance. I just saw as well Edward Regist, who is the parliamentary representative for the Grand Bay constituency. And I see the Bishop of Roseau, His Lordship Gabriel Malzere, making his entrance as well. So a number of people are here already for this occasion, an auspicious occasion in the life of the small island developing states.
Oh yes, and
as we continue to celebrate, of course, this statehood that we attained 42 years ago.
Yes,
and
indeed. We see Minister Kasani Laville is coming in.
His way in.
Yes, so certainly it's a lovely, day today. It's a really Caribbean day. The sun is out in all its glory, and and indeed, as you quite rightly said, it's a new normal. We usually the independence celebration we have this parade at the Windsor Park Stadium, but because of circumstances, as we all know, it had to be sort of punctuated.
Oh, yes.
But it's still a lovely setting here at the State House, and indeed we are looking forward to the address by the Prime Minister, and of course shortly the Prime Minister will make his entry, and then we'll have His Excellency coming in. He'll be graced with a guard of honor, and the proceedings will continue.
I always look forward to the National Day Parade at the Windsor Park Stadium. It evokes that feeling of nostalgia to see the troops on parade, the uniformed groups. It just says something about how we take our cultural heritage, the pride and dignity that we place in things like that, in things Dominica. And whilst we are doing it differently this year, I'm sure that many Dominicans, right in Dominica and abroad, are enjoying this spectacle here this morning.
Certainly, and later this afternoon there'll be a virtual sort of
cultural gala
from 4 o'clock, and I'm sure Dominicans will look forward to that. You see all the sort of creativity, our dance and our ballet. We can hear a bit of a fanfare as it would appear that the Prime Minister is making his entry or his arrival on the compound. And certainly, I'm sure it's going to be a beautiful sight to behold, as the grounds here look very green and lovely, as you quite rightly said, and lush. We've had quite a lot of rain over the last couple of days, and certainly today is really a Caribbean day, a signal honor that Dominica is blessed.
Dominica is indeed blessed, and you see the various shades of green, and of course interspersed with other colors, the colors of the national flag of Dominica, the bright red, the yellow, the green, the black, the white, really adding to the spectacle here. And we are seeing coming in now, it's kind of difficult at times for me though to make out people with
Colin
the mask.
McIntyre?
But yes, it looks like, yes, former Minister Colin McIntyre, who is making his way inside the building. So we are on the inside, very large area.
Oh yes, indeed.
To bring this ceremony in this morning. Well decorated, I must say, and we have to say to the people behind that.
Oh yes, indeed.
In terms of the decoration.
A kaleidoscope of people.
We see more people coming in.
Yes, indeed.
More people coming in. And the beauty of the warp duet is on full display here.
Oh yes, indeed.
At
Splendid
the State
colour.
House. I myself decided to wear my warp.
Well adorned, indeed, I must
Whenever
say.
you wear the warp duet, you feel this, you know.
So we have
Regal
Minister
feeling.
Gregory.
Very beautiful shoes,
Riviere.
I must say.
Oh yes, indeed. Making his
Senator
way
Gregory Caressa Rivera. And more dignitaries, more officials, more invited guests coming in. And insofar as well, when we talk about this this change in terms of how we are doing it this year, before, of course, we would have visiting dignitaries as well.
That is right.
Ministers of foreign affairs, you know, in other countries, you know, and other people coming from abroad to celebrate with us.
But of course,
And it's different this year,
Oh,
of
yes.
course, restrictions on travel and all of that. And even as we speak, we see that there's an exponential increase in cases of COVID-19 in the US, you know, and in other places as well. Even our neighboring French islands of Martinique and Guadeloupe, you know,
yes, indeed.
facing stiff restrictions as they try their best to cope with the COVID-19 pandemic. Luckily for us in Dominica, of course, we have had to go through our restrictions as well.
Yes.
But since we lifted the restrictions, it's been a while. Dominicans continue, at least the majority of Dominicans continue to adhere to the protocols that have been established. And it really underscores the importance of how much we have to adhere to these regulations to ensure that we do not have a lot of cases on the small island developing state.
Yes, and certainly full marks to the Ministry of Health for the tremendous work they have done in terms of putting all the protocols in place. And you know, it's very significant today. It's the election in the United States of America.
Oh, yes,
the
it is.
greatest nation, and I'm sure Dominicans are looking forward to the results. And as we speak, we see quite a few of the other ministers coming in. We just saw Mr. Lennox Lawrence,
Minister with
who is
Responsibility
receiving.
for Agriculture.
That's yes,
Fidel
Mr.
Grant.
Grant, Fidel Grant, and of course we saw Mr. Lawrence, Lennox Lawrence,
He
who
too
is
received an
receiving an award here this morning.
Attorney at law, he has
Yes.
done a lot.
For Dominica.
When you look at the list of awardees, I think we have 15, right?
15, yes.
Of course,
awardees.
and normally, and
different
every year,
categories. of course.
you have this generating a lot of discussion, debate sometimes in terms of who should and who should not receive award. But we have to really look at it as important in terms of Dominica continuing to sustain that tradition,
Yes.
whereby we recognize people who have made significant and in many cases are continuing to make significant developments in various areas. So I think that is, you know, that is one of the major aspects of our celebration of independence, apart from the dances and the cultural performances and all of
Cuisine
that.
and so on.
It's nice to step aside to
Yes.
recognize people who have and who continue to play that, you know, important role in nation building.
Oh yes, indeed, and quite a number of persons have continued to, put their shoulder to the wheel in terms of Dominica's development, and it's always a signal on our Independence Day that they are recognized. And certainly, as you quite rightly said, some 15 recipients will be receiving awards today, and of course, it's shortly we'll have the arrival of the Honorable Prime Minister, followed by His Excellency the President. Then the national anthem will be played. We see his Reverend, the Most Reverend Bishop Gabriel Malzia is in the house, he's here, and also Pastor Rodney is here
Pastor
sitting.
Randy Rodney.
And of course we'll have the scripture reading, and the proceedings will unfold. But certainly, I cannot help but say it's a lovely day here in Dominica, and persons are beautifully adorned in their Creole wear, including yourself, Ivona. Lovely day, and Dominica is blessed.
Well, I must say you look dapper as well. In the parish, we have worked a lot together. You two have played a significant role in national development as a police officer, having risen for the ranks. So I applaud you as well on a day like today. I know that's your forte in terms of describing to us what the parade is like. We don't really have the parade this morning, but we have a police officer station, a guard of honor, forming a guard of honor, of course, on the outside. And it's really lovely. I mean, the portico, the front entrance at the State House, really beautifully decorated. And, you know, the foliage, the plants, the greenery, really adding to this ambience here at the State House on Victoria Street. And we really have to make mention again of this lovely weather that we have. I can feel the cool breeze from the outside.
Yes.
You know, coming in, you know, and the bright sunshine. And
as we speak, yes, we can see the Speaker Emeritus
Speaker
coming
Emeritus,
in.
yes.
Coming in, Miss Alex Boyd Knight. And
making her way.
she's taking her time, and of course, as usual, beautifully adorned in a red and lovely Creole sort of way. I'm sure you can give some added description, but certainly she looks good.
It's lovely. I think she has the red petticoat and the red off-shoulder top to match with a black and white wrapping around it, and of course her tête cassée. Beautiful, I must say. But when you look around and you look at the beauty of our national wear, you cannot help but say, yes, we have it right. When you look at our flag and the coat of arms, you cannot help but say, yes, we have done a lot. We have done a lot. I mean, I know when we go overseas to represent Dominica, sometimes, and you yourself would have done that in Special Olympics.
Oh, yes.
People are just amazed by our flag, and our colors. And I see Sam Raphael, businessman, hotelier, Sam Raphael coming in, and also Dr. Damien Dublin coming in as well. So quite a few people are here already. And there's a large sitting area, so a lot of seats, a lot of preparation has gone into this morning.
Arrangement, yes, indeed. And it's 2 minutes to 9, so we're getting pretty close to the start of the proceedings here.
When we'll see the arrival very soon of the Prime Minister of Dominica and Mrs. Skerrit. And that will be followed, of course, by the arrival of His Excellency, the President of Dominica, Charles Angelo Savre, DAH, of course, and Mrs. Savre as well.
So yes, we can hear a bit of a sort of fanfare. That is a true indication that the Prime Minister is coming in, or some dignitary, and certainly I can see. Yes, is that no? Of course, the Prime Minister, one of the ministers coming in. That's one of the new ministers in charge of telecommunications and so on, and he's now stepping in.
He's also, yes, responsible for information.
Yes, and broadcasting.
Senator Oscar George.
Oh yes, and of course the fanfare continues, so that's an indication that some high-powered official is coming in.
Yes.
I reckon it's the Honorable Prime Minister.
And this is really a beautiful setting. When you look at the grounds and you look at the greenery around it, very, very beautiful.
Yes, so the parade have been brought to attention, and certainly it's a good indication that we're getting closer to the beginning of proceedings.
Definitely, we have a program to follow. Of course, punctuated sort of, not so many activities in terms of what we normally see, but certainly we have a well put together program, and I'm sure that it will be executed fine as well. So we see now the arrival of Prime Minister of Dominica and Minister for Finance, Rusev, making his way now to the portico entrance.
His son,
followed by his son and his daughter, and of course his wife, Melissa, beautifully dressed.
He makes his entry into the
Ladies and gentlemen, please stand for the arrival of Prime Minister Honorable Rusev Skerrit and Honorable Melissa Skerrit, Parliamentary Representative from the Rusev constituency.
Yes, so the Prime Minister has just made his entry, and before long we should have His Excellency coming in. We see quite a few other ministers are making their entry into the
Minister
building.
for Health,
Dr. Irvin McIntyre.
Wellness and New Health Investments.
Yes, indeed, and how well he has done in terms of keeping the Dominican public up to date.
What baptism having come into office in December of 2019?
Oh yes, but he actually hit the ground running.
Yes.
And certainly
So we see more dignitaries coming in, more officials coming in, and very soon we should see the official start. The Master of Ceremonies, Mr. Ferrol, is already at the podium, of course, as we get set to start this off.
The 42nd independence anniversary of Dominica, 3rd of November 1978, Dominica received that sort of accolade, and since then we have had quite a number of challenges, but of course Dominica is very resilient. We have had that forward thinking by our Prime Minister and the government of Dominica, and we continue to progress.
Oh, definitely, we continue to progress as a resilient nation. And
His Excellency is making his way out from the State House.
This tall, astute figure,
and
walks with an air of confidence as always.
Yes,
Charles
accompanied by
Angelo
Mr. Savre,
Savre,
of course, and the AD car, the Chief of Police, Mr. Lincoln Cobbett, is there.
and the Secretary to the
Just
President,
moving to the
Donald.
dais,
Right.
and he'll receive the national anthem will be played, I reckon, shortly as the parade comes to the present.
The national anthem, of course, will signal the official start.
Yes. And the presidential salute now, followed by the anthem.
Please stand.
Yes, so we've just had the national anthem, and of course the officer will report to His Excellency, and I reckon invite him to inspect the guard of honor. Then His Excellency will make his entry into the facility here.
Yes, so we continue the proceedings here at the State House on this 3rd day of November 2020. Dominica observing its 42nd anniversary as an independent nation, a small island developing state that has seen so much, but resilience remains on the front burner of all Dominicans. And of course, we have gone through our highs and our lows. We have had major achievements, and we continue to stand strong as a Caribbean island, really making a mark, a big impact in this world, Dominica.
Oh yes, indeed, and certainly how well Dominica has gone. I mean, in terms of resilience, you heard the Prime Minister announce a couple of years ago that Dominica, he wants to ensure that Dominica becomes the first resilient nation in the world, and how strong Dominica has been, having gone through all the challenges. So as we speak, His Excellency is now inspecting the Guard of Honor. It's
Please be seated.
It's one platoon. One platoon is headed here by Bill Johnson, Inspector, and of course we have Inspector Cadet there. Superintendent Valentine is actually the officer in charge of the Guard of Honor. We can see the Deputy Chief of course, the Commissioner of Police acting, Mr. Lincoln Cobbett, is also escorting His Excellency, who goes back into the dais. As he gets the salute, the officer will invite him to request his permission actually to continue with the activities. He will be given the salute again, and then of course His Excellency will alight from the dais and make his entry into the facility here, where the proceedings for the recipients of the national awards, of course the prayer, that will be preceded by the prayer and the scripture reading, and of course we'll have the address to the nation by the Prime Minister, Rusev.
Please.
So we will begin
Just to announce the arrival, the entry of His Excellency Charles A. Sovereign, DH, President of the Commonwealth of Dominica, and Mrs. Sovereign.
Very well organized, very well executed, I must say.
Oh yes, indeed. So His Excellency has just made his entry with Mrs. Sovereign to his left, of course, and of course the Edica is there, and all his officials from his office. And
Please be seated.
Has just gone to his position, and we will have the proceedings continue with the prayer to the nation.
Your Excellencies, Honorables, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, and the thousands of Dominicans viewing from at home. Good morning and a happy independence. Our National Day observance ceremony this year is tailored to complement the efforts of government and the entire country in a fight to prevent the spread of COVID-19. The traditional large gathering and the military parade is therefore left out of this year's program. In addition, every effort was made, even in this downsized version, to fully observe the protocols issued by the Ministry of Health and to package a program that could be streamed live online. You will observe that the health and distancing protocol are observed here, including the wearing of masks, sanitization, and distancing in the sitting arrangements and the activities of today. We regret that we also had to cut off handshaking, which is a standard feature of the awards ceremony. With specific reference regards to the speakers of today, clearance was sought from the Ministry of Health to place the podiums at an approved safe distance to allow for the few speakers, including the Honorable Prime Minister, to present without the wearing of masks. For those just tuning on their televisions, with regards to the speakers of today, clearance was sought from the Ministry of Health to place the podiums at an approved safe distance to allow for speakers, including the Honorable Prime Minister, to present without the wearing of masks. We therefore appeal to our guests present here to observe the protocols mentioned during the entire event. I want to use this opportunity to remind those viewing at home that it is extremely important that you also observe the protocols from the Ministry of Health. It is both a personal and a national responsibility. For prayers to the nation, again? No, did outside. Okay. Prayers to the nation will be offered by Reverend Mona Christmas Fraser, representative of the Dominica Christian Council, and scripture reading by Pastor Randy Rodney of the Dominica Association of Evangelical Churches.
The scripture reading for today is selected because of the theme for independence this year, embracing new opportunities. Numbers chapter 13, from verse 25 to 28, verse 30, and then Mark chapter 2, verse 21 and 22. The scripture reads, "And they returned from spying out the land after 40 days. Now they departed and came back to Moses and Aaron and all the congregation of the children of Israel in the wilderness of Paran at Kadesh. They brought back word to them and to all the congregation and showed them the fruit of the land. Then they told him and said, 'We went to the land where you sent us. It truly flows with milk and honey, and this is its fruit. Nevertheless, the people who dwell in the land are strong. The cities are fortified and very large. Moreover, we saw the descendants of Anak there.' Then Caleb quieted the people before Moses and said, 'Let us go up at once and take possession, for we are well able to overcome it.'" Jesus says in Mark chapter 2, verse 21 and 22, "No one sews a piece of unstrung cloth on an old garment, or else the new piece pulls away from the old, and the tear is made worse. And no one puts new wine into old wineskins, or else the new wine bursts the wineskins. The wine is spilt, and the wineskins are ruined. But new wine must be put into new wineskins." A lesson that teaches us that challenges creates opportunities, and opportunities are seen by visionaries as in new wineskins.
Let us pray. The psalmist declared, "Blessed is the nation whose God is the Lord." May I invite us to pause wherever we are and offer prayers of thanksgiving to God silently for his goodness to the Commonwealth of Dominica. Sovereign and almighty God, ruler of the nations, we acknowledge you as Lord over the Commonwealth of Dominica. By your mighty hand, you have led her these 42 years as a nation, extending your hand of mercy. You have poured immeasurable blessings through your providence, protection, and provision. You have given to her a spirit of resilience, enabling her to rebound in the face of challenges over these years. Praise be to you, O God, for our white bully who stands tall and proud today. Creating God, you have furnished us as individuals and as a nation with every good gift. May we gaze on her gifts so rich and rare, for the rivers, valleys, hills, and mountains, pastures green and flowers of beauty. We bless you, O Lord, for this isle of beauty and splendor. May we never take for granted these gifts and our freedom to love and serve you. Pardoning God, heal and renew our nation as we repent of our country's wrong, and cause us to ever seek your way of reconciliation and renewal. As you forgive us, O God in Christ, draw us together as a people of reverent godly fear, who seek to do your will, so that we may be a light to the nations of the region and the world. For the declaration of your word is that righteousness exalts a nation, but sin is a disgrace to any people. Wise God, grant wisdom to those set in positions of authority and influence. Our President, His Excellency Charles Savary. Our Prime Minister, the Honorable Roosevelt Skerrit. Our Leader of the Opposition, the Honorable Lennox Linton. All members of Parliament, lawmakers and enforcers, religious and civic leaders. Guide them and us with your counsel and wisdom, for the wisdom that comes from heaven is first of all pure, then peace-loving, considerate, submissive, full of mercy and good fruit, impartial and sincere. May we with them strive for honor, doing the right, being firm and being fair. Abundant God, as we continue to build a resilient nation, we thank you for the strides made and pray that you may expand the knowledge and insight of our people so that new and improved technologies, creativities, and initiatives can boost the various sectors and industries even more. We pray you, O God, keep us as a people strong and healthy. This we pray as we with the rest of the world battle the coronavirus. In your mercy, look with favor on those whose health is challenged, especially those now afflicted with the coronavirus. Strengthen those tasked to make decisions in this fight, and those who give of themselves in frontline duty. Uniting God, remove from among us anything that will threaten to fuel division, compromise, hostility, or arrogance. And Lord, build us up for the unity of purpose as we toil with hearts and hands and voices. May we be devoted to one another in familial love and honor one another above ourselves. Teach us your way, O Lord, and we will walk in truth. Give us undivided hearts that we may fear your name. Help us to truly live what we speak, all for each and each for all in a spirit of harmony. O God, you have been a dwelling place for all generations. May we dwell in the peace and hope that you offer us, and so walk confidently into the year that lies ahead. For the 42 years that are past, we praise you. For the years to come, we trust you. O God, her shores from every foe, with peace her borders bless. With prosperous times her cities crown, her fields with plenteousness. Unite us in the sacred love of knowledge, truth, and you. And let her hills and valleys shout the songs of liberty. Lord of the nations, thus to you, our beloved country, we commend. Be thou her refuge and her trust, her everlasting friend. In the name of Christ we pray. Amen. The Lord's Prayer together. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. Thine is the kingdom, power, and the glory, forever and ever. Amen.
Our thanks to Reverend Fraser and Pastor Rodney for prayers to the nation. I now invite a song of praise by Ian Michael Anthony, produced by Mrs. Jean Marturin Lawrence.
Good morning, everyone. While we await the music to come on, let me just wish Dominica a happy independence. And I'm proud to be Dominican and proud to present this song of Jane Lawrence Matthew, A Lovely Gift. what a lovely gift, and I say, what a lovely gift, and I say, what a lovely gift is Dominica. And may God bless and keep her, Dominica, Isle of Nature. I can see mountains green, waterfalls and flowing streams. Celia Cicero, proud emblem of our nation. Hear pulsating sounds of the Lapuka, exciting rhythms move our feet. And I say, what a lovely gift, and I say, what a lovely gift, and I say, what a lovely gift is Dominica. And may God bless and keep her, Dominica, Isle of Nature. God to protect us. Let us move on forward as one together. We have youths to guide, we have goals to reach, we have a nation to build, educate and teach. And I say, what a lovely gift, and I say, what a lovely gift, and I say, what a lovely gift is Dominica. And may God bless and keep her, Dominica, Isle of Nature. Dominica, God bless and keep her. Dominica, Isle of Nature. Dominica, God bless and keep her. Dominica, God bless and keep her.
Your Excellencies, Honorables, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, on the occasion of our National Day and the celebration of our 42nd anniversary of independence, I am pleased to invite the Prime Minister of the Commonwealth of Dominica, Honorable Rusev, to address the nation.
Let me, first of all, recognize our President, His Excellency Charles Savre, and his wife, Mrs. Savre. My wife, Honorable Melissa Skerritt, Member of Parliament for Roseau Central, and my son, Dimitri, and my dear little daughter, Isabella. Honorable Reginald Ostry, our Senior Minister, Honorable Joseph Isaac, Speaker of the House of Assembly, Your Ladyship Justice Wynant Adrian Roberts, Resident Judge, Your Lordship, the Most Reverend Gabriel Malze, Bishop of Roseau, our dear Methodist Reverend who prayed for us this morning, Honorable Lennox, honorable members of Cabinet and their spouses, Honorable Lennox Linton, Leader of the Opposition, Your Excellencies, members of the Diplomatic Corps, Honorable Alex Boyd Knights, Speaker Emerita, Ambassador Steve Farrell, Secretary to the Cabinet, Ms. Dennis Edwards, the Financial Secretary, our Chief of Police, Permanent Secretaries, Pastor Randy Rodney, awardees, distinguished guests, members of the media, fellow Dominicans, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. Praise be to God, and may the peace and blessings of the Lord be upon us all. Dear citizens, residents, friends, 42 years ago, our nation was born. We shed the cloak of our colonial past and emerged to face the future as a republic that would thereafter be known as the Commonwealth of Dominica. In doing so, we were declaring to the world that we were fully capable of charting our own course, of determining our own future and destiny, of building and leaving a legacy for generations yet unborn. Though our population was relatively small, and our hills and rivers beautiful but daunting, we were bolstered by our faith and confident of our capacity to construct a proud and successful nation, and I dare say we have. When we embarked upon this journey of nationhood 42 years ago, it was with the sure knowledge that the road ahead would not be easy. Since then, we have faced many storms, natural and man-made, earthquakes, landslides, and floods, but we have overcome them all. We have faced 2 catastrophic hurricanes that many thought we would not recover from, but we overcame them. By the help of God, in good times and in bad, we have fought on, pressing forward, moving upward, growing stronger, and maintaining a clear development trajectory. Dominica today boasts modern infrastructure, a reliable telecommunications network, some of the best housing in the Caribbean, healthcare and education for our citizens, opportunities for our young people, protection to our seniors, and a social safety net for the vulnerable. It is a good society, one of justice and equity, one with compassionate people, one with opportunity for all. We now face the unprecedented global impact of the novel coronavirus known as COVID-19 pandemic. But this too we shall overcome. Dominicans know how to endure. Dominicans know how to persevere. We have done it time and again, and this time is no different. We will overcome. We will triumph. Dominica will succeed. We are a strong people. We are a determined people. We are a resilient people. And we are building a resilient society, environment, and economy that will protect us against external shocks, whether they are social, economic, environmental, or man-made. Over the years, with each adversity, we have become better at adapting, at responding and surviving, at overcoming the odds and bouncing back stronger and better. We have been tested time and again, but our God has never failed us, and He will not fail us now. COVID-19 is testing us now, yet Dominica, by any objective measurement, has done a very good job in protecting our people, by controlling the spread of this deadly disease and in providing support systems and programs for our citizens and the private sector. However, given the depth and gravity of the global crisis, no country anywhere has been spared the impact of this pandemic. It has challenged health systems in rich and powerful countries, infected over 46 million people, killed almost 1.25 million people worldwide, transformed societies, and made large economies with higher GDP and per capita income than Dominica vulnerable. The economic impact of this pandemic continues to be keenly felt in Dominica and the Caribbean, which is one of the world's most tourism-dependent regions. Analysis by the World Tourism Organization indicates that across the world, COVID-19 will result in a loss of, and I quote, 850 million to 1.1 billion international tourists, end quote. The loss of US 910 billion to US $1.2 trillion in tourism revenues. And I quote, a loss of 100 to 120 million direct tourism jobs, end of quote. In the Caribbean, we have experienced this reality where cities have grown silent. Airports lie empty. Cruise ships are not anchored in our ports. Jobs have been lost. Livelihoods have been disrupted. And a sense of fear and uncertainty envelops our people. In Dominica, government revenue has decreased substantially, while at the same time, expenditure has increased to provide stimulus packages, support to those seriously affected, and to adequately provide for the health response to the pandemic. That is the new reality we live today. Following on the initial spread of the pandemic, a number of developed countries, which are our principal tourism markets, are experiencing a second wave of infections that has prompted new lockdowns. This will have serious consequences for the already severely impacted economies of the Caribbean, particularly the tourism-dependent sectors. You may well ask, what is the government doing to address the crisis and prepare Dominica for its post-COVID-19 future? Ladies and gentlemen, times of crisis, and more so an unprecedented crisis, like the impact of COVID-19 pandemic that we are currently facing, call for strong, determined, and visionary leadership. Your government has not been found wanting. We have stepped up to the challenge from the outbreak of the pandemic, pooling all the human, social, and financial capital at our disposal to address this pandemic. Your government has and continues to pursue an 8-pronged strategy. 1, keep COVID-19 from entering our borders and spreading throughout Dominica. 2, ensure that our healthcare system is well equipped for testing, aggressive contact tracing, and support for those who get infected. 3, stimulate economic activity through domestic spending led by government projects to create decent work, to boost employment, and help the youth and families maintain themselves. 4, support and stimulate various sectors of the economy. 5, protect public officers, especially our frontline workers. 6, provide and maintain a social safety net for the most vulnerable and those who need it. 7, prepare our economy and society to bounce back quickly after COVID-19 eases and travel resumes. And 8, continue our quest to build resilience. Our country has received much praise for our handling of COVID-19. Your government, through our Ministry of Health, has put in place health and safety protocols, including the wearing of masks and physical distancing. We rapidly established appropriate quarantine and treatment facilities. And despite the high cost and difficulties in sourcing, we acquired the necessary supplies and equipment to safeguard our citizens, control the spread of the virus, and successfully treat those who contracted it. Like other nations around the Caribbean and the world, we had embarked on a period of domestic lockdown and closed our borders. We did not want to return to those days. We must therefore take on our individual responsibility in fighting this virus. We as a nation must not let our guard down. This recent isolated cluster of cases has reminded us of the need to continue to be vigilant and the need to continue to follow the health protocols and guidelines, including practicing good hand hygiene, mask wearing, and physical distancing. To our first responders and frontline workers who are working hard to keep us safe, I convey the thanks and sincere appreciation of a grateful nation. To date, your government has spent over $12.7 million in providing direct support to Dominicans most affected by COVID-19. And despite the global challenges, government has ensured that no public officer has been sent home or had their wages cut. And very importantly, no public officer has been paid late. Sometimes they're even surprised to get their salary so early. We have maintained our national employment program to ensure that interns could continue to feed their families and keep a roof over their heads. Our social welfare programs, which create an important safety net for our most vulnerable, have also been maintained. Your government has mobilized resources, and with the help of our partners, we have been able to offer income support to those who lost their jobs in the private sector. We have also provided loans and grants, tax rebates and tax amnesty, and duty-free concessions to assist the private sector. We have ensured that our health system continues to be adequately staffed, well-stocked with essential medical drugs and supplies, and is fully functional and capable of managing the pandemic. Although Dominica is very much the captive of a global situation beyond our control, your government is actively seeking innovative ways to keep the wheels of the economy turning and to ensure that Dominicans are gainfully employed. One such measure is to stimulate domestic activity and spending through an aggressive construction program. Your government anticipates that while the tourism sector continues to flounder in the wake of COVID-19 and foreign exchange earnings remain modest, we can stimulate domestic spending. We recognize that construction activity, which is labor-intensive, is a powerful driver of economic activity. Your government has therefore fast-tracked our public sector investment program to bring projects online speedily and encourage the circulation of more money in the economy. This includes the East Coast Road Rehabilitation Project and the wider capital projects portfolio, which is worth some $427.2 million. Your government is fulfilling its promises, meeting our sustainable development goals, and transforming Dominica by empowering citizens to own homes. Further economic stimulation and job creation will come from the continuation of our housing program and government's thrust to build 5,000 climate-resilient homes for Dominica's most vulnerable citizens, of which we have constructed well over 1,640 homes so far. These homes are architecturally pleasing, well constructed, and resilient. The construction programs outlined will have beneficial impacts on our sectors of the economy, from transportation to manufacturing, mining and quarrying, to wholesale and retail, just to name a few. Government's approach of looking to the future and putting in place policies and programs that will enable the country to build back better, further diversify our economy, and prepare our youth to take advantage of technology and the digital economy is both deliberate and strategic. We are committed to building a dynamic Dominica through the implementation of a number of measures: improved and increased digitization, attract digital nomads as long-stay visitors, retooling and retraining youth and citizens in digital skills, relieving many of our young people of significant percentages of their student loans, improving the quality of our infrastructure, constructing our international airport, improving and increasing school plans, healthcare facilities and healthcare delivery, improving farming techniques and farming production, and reducing risk and vulnerability while simultaneously building resilience. COVID-19, ladies and gentlemen, has accelerated and expanded the global digital economy. Like people around the globe, COVID-19 forced us to adapt and embrace technology to carry out routine tasks. We saw businesses scaling up to offer their services and products online, the expansion of food delivery services, the proliferation of online platforms for meetings and conferences, and even for participation in virtual social activities, as well as the introduction of online learning on a larger scale. To further move Dominica into the digital age, your government is shifting its services and fee payments onto online platforms. It is providing more opportunities for training our young people, and we have embarked on a digital transformation project that will be a driver of economic growth, job creation, improved service delivery, and e-commerce as a new plank for our economy. This includes training our citizens to monetize the internet to boost livelihoods. Among other things, it will prepare them for opportunities and openings in the gig economy and facilitate global digital nomads to work remotely from Dominica. COVID-19 has been the greatest disruptor of our lifetime. It is causing change at a rapid and unprecedented pace. Out of sheer necessity, Dominica must be nimble and proactive in reacting to that change. We have therefore recently launched our Safe in Nature tourism program, which allows visitors to have a map of the beauty and wonder of Dominica in a COVID-19 safe environment. Government is also developing a work in nature product that will encourage an extended stay by visitors to live and remotely work on island for up to 15 months. These initiatives facilitate opportunities for our service providers in telecommunications, housing and car rentals, dining, taxis and tours, health and wellness, among others. My dear friends, raising capital in innovative ways and leveraging that capital to support development and commercial activity at a national level is a challenge facing all Caribbean and small island developing states and developing countries. Government will soon be launching an entrepreneurship visa program, which is aimed primarily at mobilizing support and finance for micro, small, and medium enterprises in our country. The entrepreneurship visa program will invite interested investors to make a substantial financial investment in Dominica in a designated fund from which MSMEs can obtain grant funding. We will also focus on strengthening entrepreneurship generally, including for the creative industries. This targeted support will help our businesses to develop and thrive. As indicated earlier, the strengthening of our agricultural sector was one means of preparing for the future. The Ministry of Agriculture has already begun working with some farmers in building resilient food systems and transforming our agricultural sector to one that is more technology-based. Support has been provided to develop aquaculture farms, prawn farming, the introduction of more exotic resilient crops, and agro-processing. The opportunity is there to increase our production and variety, to be able to meet local demand and provide for export. We need to take advantage of this, especially in the post-COVID-19 environment, when the Caribbean region will be attempting to become more food secure, reduce imports from outside the region, and guard against supply chain disruption. While we accept the fact that COVID-19 is part of our reality and that many of our coping mechanisms are congruent with our sustainable development, we have to ensure that we continue with our major development plans to create the dynamic and resilient Dominica that you deserve. My fellow Dominicans, we cannot talk about becoming a resilient country and not address the vulnerabilities and limitations of air access to our country. There can be no doubt that an international airport is a necessity now for Dominica. An airport with the capacity to accept long-haul flights will be a significant boost to our expanding tourism industry, improve access to our island, and its attractiveness as a place to do business. Our international airport will enable us to get our goods to markets faster, expand the range of markets open to us, and support the diversification of our economy. I made a promise to the nation that this government, your government, would deliver an international airport to the people of Dominica. And I say to you, deliver we shall. All of the 411 acres of land that are required have been acquired. If all goes well as planned, all negotiations with landowners for fair compensation for the land will be completed by the end of November 2020. Dear citizens, we should not underestimate this process. This is a massive undertaking and must be done properly. We have established 8 different technical teams to ensure that every aspect is properly considered and handled, and that timelines and deadlines can be met. An international airport development company will be incorporated for the duration of the project to provide direction and support. A professional American firm experienced in airport development has been engaged to provide advice and oversight. We do not only talk about these things, we plan carefully and we approach matters responsibly. I say to you today that your international airport is coming. The airport site will be handed over to the developers on the 1st of December, and construction of our international airport will begin in the first quarter of 2021. I know that the process will cause disruption and inconvenience for us, and particularly for the people of Wesley who have to be relocated. Be assured that your government is committed to taking every measure to minimize the impact on those so affected. Your government will ensure that the people of Wesley and Woodfordale and Palm Tree will be properly compensated and will benefit from the development that the construction of the international airport will create in your area. I want to thank the affected residents for their patience and understanding. I thank you for your contribution to this vital national project. The names of all of you who have given up your property for the construction of the international airport will be inscribed on the walls of the terminal building as a lasting testimony of your contribution to the development of this national project. So, Glorious Chillingford's name will be there, and Priam Williams. Fellow citizens and friends, the COVID-19 pandemic has reminded us how important it is to be healthy and to have health facilities that are adequately staffed and equipped to deal with our health challenges. This is why your government has been focusing on changing the face of healthcare delivery in Dominica. We are improving our primary healthcare service that has served us so well, particularly during this pandemic. We have seen the construction of new smart health centers, and 3 more health centers will be completed by the end of the year, and 3 additional ones will be completed in the first quarter of 2021. Work is progressing at a rapid pace on our new hospitals in Roseau and Marigot. This will greatly expand and upgrade the quality of healthcare available to our citizens. And importantly, it can foster opportunities for us in health tourism. It creates greater confidence for our visitors and citizens alike and remote workers to make Dominica the destination of choice. We have also given attention to improving service delivery. This is why the National Health Commission has been engaged in an extensive exercise of stakeholder consultations and a public information campaign, all aimed at enhancing and revolutionizing the way we deliver healthcare in Dominica. The process of consultation has been completed, and where practicable, suggestions will be taken on board to ensure that as a priority, we pursue a path of accreditation for our public hospitals. We aim to develop a system of secondary hospital care that is more responsive, that delivers value for money, and places first-class patient care at the forefront of its mission. The hospitals, health centers, and numerous other infrastructural projects that are ongoing at this time have the triple purpose of creating jobs, stimulating economic activity, and preparing us for the post-COVID-19 recovery. Ladies and gentlemen, friends, Dominica is firmly on the path towards building the first climate-resilient nation. We have developed a clear pathway with our National Resilience Development Strategy that integrates climate resilience and disaster risk management into our national growth and development planning. This has been translated into a climate resilience and recovery plan, which sets out a roadmap for achieving resilience by 2030. We have committed to deposit $500,000 monthly into our Vulnerability, Risk, and Resilience Fund, set up at the Eastern Caribbean Central Bank. This fund is intended to provide ready access to finance and to enable us to quickly and effectively respond to shocks and disasters. These strategies are consistent with our manifesto commitments and readying the country for the opportunities post-COVID-19. Your government is playing its part, but we need the support of all citizens. We need increased productivity and improved customer service in both the public and private sectors. Unity and cooperation are especially important at this time of global crisis. When Dominica needs all her sons and daughters, whether at home or abroad, to put their best efforts and skills at the disposal of our country, Dominica. If Dominica fails, we all fail. If Dominica is prosperous, we all prosper. Dominica is independent, but it is not alone. Throughout our journey, we have had the support of many countries, organizations, and individuals. They continue to stand by our side, particularly in the most difficult of times. And for this, we are truly grateful. Let us recognize that. Let us recognize that what we have accomplished over the last 42 years as a small independent nation and as a people was neither easy nor ordinary, but by the grace of God and our collective effort, Dominica today stands proud and strong. We are not a country that the world has dismissed or forgotten, but one that challenges the world to laud our accomplishments and causes other nations to marvel at this and celebrate our achievements. Our strength and determination have gained us friends all over the world. Dominica, today, the Commonwealth of Dominica is a proud member of the global family of nations, and we are in good standing, admired by many and respected by all. That admiration and respect did not come by accident. It was earned by the sweat of our brow and our achievements as a people, and by our fortitude as a nation, and always standing on the side of principle in the international community. 42 years after independence, it can truly be said that Dominicans have proven the pundits wrong. We dumbfounded the naysayers. We confounded the critics. We silenced the unbelievers, and we moved those of goodwill to unbridled admiration. Today, as your Prime Minister, I join our nation in celebrating a proud, successful, resilient, 42-year-old Dominica. We are not yet all we want to be, but we have become more than our forefathers dreamed and hoped for. From an uncertain past and the seeds of doubt, we built a modern nation. Let us now, unified and fearless, build an even more prosperous future, confident that as the Bible tells us, and I quote, "Goodness and mercy shall follow us all the days of our lives," end of quote. In this time of global crisis, let us bind together and act with one voice and one goal to build a prosperous Dominica, to build a resilient Dominica, to build a sustainable Dominica, to build a Dominica of which succeeding generations can be proud. We can be an example to the world of resilience, of best practices, and of triumph over adversity. Let that spirit of resilience and brotherhood shine, and indeed sisterhood shine. Let us revive the tradition of neighborliness. Let us rekindle that love for nation. Let us go forward as Dominicans, united with one purpose. May God continue to bless Dominica and keep us safe from adversity. Happy Independence, Dominica. Happy Independence to Dominicans everywhere. Before I leave this podium, I wish to congratulate all the awardees for this year's Independence celebration. But in particular, I salute and recognize Mr. Ronald Green, our former leader of the opposition, an individual whom I have the highest personal respect for. And to my dear Aunt Stella LeBlanc, I remember the days when people would wake us up at 3 o'clock in the morning, complaining they have a headache and you had to go out to care for them. And I remember the days as a young boy going with you in Ansdeme and Dodan, house to house, meeting the patients, and in Penville, in the rugged roads, in the mountains and the valleys of so many parts of Penville. And I am very proud to witness your recognition by the nation for your contribution. May God truly bless our country, Dominica. I thank you very much.
We thank the Honorable Prime Minister for yet another inspiring National Day address to the nation. I now invite the President of the Commonwealth of Dominica, His Excellency Charles A. Sovereign, to invest with the Medal of Honor those persons on whom honors have been bestowed for rendering meritorious service to the Commonwealth of Dominica. (2020) Cicero Award of Honor for meritorious service to the Commonwealth of Dominica by His Excellency Charles Angelo Sovereign, DAH, President of the Commonwealth of Dominica, to Mrs. Stella LeBlanc, Ronald Milner Green, Esquire, His Excellency Ambassador Lennox Lawrence. Whereas you have rendered meritorious service to the Commonwealth of Dominica, now therefore I, Charles Angelo Sovereign, President of the Commonwealth of Dominica, as aforesaid, by this my warrant, do grant and confer on you the dignity and honor of the Cicero Award of Honor, which I am empowered to bestow on those persons who have rendered meritorious service to the Commonwealth of Dominica. And I do further order, by this my warrant, that you be awarded the Medal of Honor in recognition of your services to the Commonwealth of Dominica, given under my hand and the public seal of the Commonwealth of Dominica this 3rd day of November, 2020. To Mrs. Stella LeBlanc, Cicero Award of Honor. Whereas you have rendered meritorious service to the government and people of the Commonwealth of Dominica by your dedicated and untiring contribution in the field of healthcare and community development. And whereas, as a testimony to your stunning commitment to the development of community healthcare, you were instrumental in the advancement of the primary healthcare program in the Portsmouth district, where you served as primary healthcare nurse midwife for over 23 years. And whereas you have been exemplary in your role as community healthcare volunteer from 1980 to 1982. And whereas you have participated in a number of societies, organizations, community groups, and the Catholic Church fraternity. And whereas in your retirement, you continue to actively participate in the Vilcars Village Council as chairperson and member. For these services to the Commonwealth of Dominica, you are today presented with the Cicero Award of Honor. Take pictures. Cicero Award of Honor to Ronald Milner Green, Esquire. Whereas you have rendered meritorious service to the Commonwealth of Dominica in the fields of politics and community development, and whereas you gave dedicated service as Minister for Education, Sports, and Youth Affairs from 1995 to 2000, served as parliamentary representative for the La Plaine constituency from 1995 to 2009, Member of Parliament from 1995 to 2014, and as Leader of the Opposition from 2008 to 2009, and whereas you served as Chairman of the La Plaine Village Council for 16 years and was co-founder of the Dominica Association of Local Authorities, DALA, and whereas you gave committed and dedicated contribution to the advancements of sports in Dominica, both at the national level and in the Southeast. For these services to the Commonwealth of Dominica, you are today presented with the Cicero Award of Honor. Hey, picture. Ah. Cicero Award of Honor to His Excellency Ambassador Lennox Lawrence. Whereas you have rendered dedicated and selfless service to the Commonwealth of Dominica as barrister and solicitor for the past 24 years, and whereas You continued to work on behalf of the Dominican public. In 2000, as Director of the National Development Cooperation. In 2005, as Dominica's first ambassador to the Bolivarian Republic of Venezuela, participating in the development of the ALBA and Petro-Caribe agreements. In 2009, as Director of the Public Works Corporation and Deputy Chairman of DBS Radio. Since 2013, as First Ambassador to the Hellenic Republic of Greece. And whereas you continue to serve the Dominican society as an attorney at law with specialization in public law, election law, and defamation law, among others, and as a member of the Electoral Commission. For these services to the Commonwealth of Dominica, you are today presented with the Cicero Award of Honor. 2020 Meritorious Service Award. For meritorious service to the Commonwealth of Dominica by His Excellency Charles Angelo Sovereign, DAH, President of the Commonwealth of Dominica, to Mrs. Priscilla Prevost, Mr. Gregory Rabes, Gregory Shillingford Esquire, Telford Shillingford Esquire, Clyde Lester Ferrara Esquire, Kevin Johan John Stevenson Esquire, Martin Anthony Scotland Esquire. Whereas you have rendered meritorious service to the Commonwealth of Dominica, now therefore I, Charles Angelo Sovereign, President of the Commonwealth of Dominica, as aforesaid, by this my warrant, do grant and confer on you the dignity and honor of the Meritorious Service Award, which I am empowered to bestow on those persons who have rendered meritorious service to the Commonwealth of Dominica. And I do further order, by this my warrant, that you be awarded the Meritorious Service Award in recognition of your services to the Commonwealth of Dominica. Given under my hand and the public seal of the Commonwealth of Dominica this 3rd day of November 2020. Meritorious Service Award to Mrs. Priscilla Prevost. Whereas you have given selfless and dedicated service to the Commonwealth of Dominica in the field of health, and whereas your services since 1972, from these early years in the St. Joseph Health District as the district nurse midwife, and later as family nurse practitioner, have previously earned you several awards for your tireless efforts as a leader and health educator. And whereas, while on retirement, your commitment to the holistic health of all Dominicans continues to be manifested in your weekly Power Breakfast radio program, your service as immediate past president of the Non-Communicable Disease NCD Commission in Dominica, as a board member of the General Nursing Council and the Food and Nutrition Council, and currently as health coordinator for the Eastern Caribbean Conference of Seventh-day Adventists. For these services to the Commonwealth of Dominica, you are today presented with the Meritorious Service Award.
Very dedicated as well to what is involved in.
She's the mom of the PS and the speaker. That's right. She has worked tirelessly for the development of health in Dominica. And the next recipient we have on the list is Gregory Rabes for culture, followed by Gregory Shillingford, his music for sports and agriculture. Yes, it's very lovely code of Maryland uniform. Very nice and well set, good setting here. Yes.
Meritorious Service Award to Mr. Gregory Rabes.
Presentation. That's right.
Continues to keep the culture and passion and noise for sustaining the culture is there. Yes, from the point of activity,
Whereas you have been a champion for researching and promoting key aspects of Dominican culture, particularly in music, the Creole language, and Dominican art. And whereas your dedication to the advancement of Creole is manifested in your pioneering work with the Comité pour Edit Creole, KEK, your literary works including Powell Cadi, a collection of proverbs, Tim Tim Glow du Bout, a collection of riddles, and your music album, which has earned you the endearing nickname of Washla, all of which have earned you several awards, including the Dominica Festival Committee DFC Award of Excellence in 1999, the Dominica Festival Committee Recognition Award in 2003, and the Golden Drum Award in 2010. And whereas you continue to support the advancement and promulgation of our culture as part of a team of specialists producing the new Creole Dictionary, and as one of Dominica's cultural ambassadors. For these services to the Commonwealth of Dominica, you are today presented with the Meritorious Service Award.
Meritorious Service Award for culture. And Gregory Rabes, of course, has done a lot for the cultural development of Dominica, and he continues to work tirelessly in that vein.
when you listen to his achievements in agriculture, Gregory Rabes.
And then, of course, we have Gregory Shillingford, who has been involved in sports and agriculture in Dominica, and of course in the Caribbean for some time, and he is receiving his accolade today,
Meritorious Service Award to Gregory Shillingford, Esquire. Whereas you have contributed to the development of the Commonwealth of Dominica, through passionate and steadfast work in the fields of agriculture and sports. And whereas your contribution to agriculture has been remarkable, beginning as a prolific farmer at the Durham and Hallsborough Estate, and evolving into the Chief Executive Officer of the Dominica Banana Marketing Corporation from 1992 to 1994 and 1997 to 2000, earning Dominica the title of leading United Kingdom certified premium banana producer between 1997 and 2000. And whereas your stellar leadership as Chief Executive Officer of the West Indies Cricket Board from 2000 to 2002, Director of the West Indies Cricket Board from 2006 to 2013, and the Executive Officer of the Windward Islands Cricket Incorporated and the Windward Islands Cricket Board of Control, has resulted in the hosting of international and regional cricket to new venues in Dominica and other regional islands. For these services to the Commonwealth of Dominica, you are today presented with the Meritorious Service Award.
And of course, following that, we have Telford Shillingford, who worked at the former cable and wireless telecommunication and agriculture.
Well built gentleman, receiving his medal now. He has seen the glory days of bananas because, of course, he worked as the CEO. He served as the CEO of the DBMC back in the day, so he would have seen when banana was king. He would have seen the highs and lows in agriculture as well. So he just received his medal, making his way back to his seat.
Of course, the next recipient will be Telford Shillingford, who worked
Meritorious Service Award to Telford Shillingford, Esquire.
For the market, even the regional market, he worked at Cable and Wireless and was very good and instrumental in telecommunications. And it's a signal honor to be that he was.
Whereas you have rendered meritorious service to the Commonwealth of Dominica by your unwavering and outstanding contribution to the telecoms and agricultural sector. And whereas you have worked diligently and passionately to build the foundations of our modern telecommunications system through your tenure at Cable and Wireless. And whereas subsequently upon your retirement from Cable and Wireless in 1995, you contributed to the agricultural sector in the cultivation of pineapples and is currently the largest pineapple producing farmer on the island. And whereas for 20 years, you have continuously and diligently produced bay oil, and at the only bay oil distillery in Sansove, of which you are the sole proprietor. For these services to the Commonwealth of Dominica, you are today presented with the Meritorious Service Award.
Telford
Shillingford, telecommunications and agriculture, largest pineapple producing farmer. Very interesting. He continues, of course, to shine in that area, receiving his medal now. Telford Shillingford. He is also the proprietor of the Bay Oil Distillery in Sansovere. A large distillery this. He's feeling honored that his recognition, in fact, he's been recognized. His contribution rather has not gone unnoticed.
Meritorious Service Award to Clyde Lester Ferrara, Esquire.
Recognized for their contribution in the field of agriculture.
Yes,
We
that's
have
the Minister of the
Clyde now coming
Economy.
on. Right. Clyde Lester Ferrara coming up to receive his award. He has done a lot as well.
Yes, and he hails from the community of St. Joseph. takes in the footsteps of his father, Clement Ferrara, who was one of the biggest banana producers in the heydays when bananas was...
Whereas you have faithfully and diligently rendered meritorious service to the Commonwealth of Dominica by your outstanding contribution to the agricultural and trade sectors, and whereas you successfully managed your family farm, overseeing the export of premium produce to other Caribbean islands, and whereas you have continued to be significantly involved in the agricultural export industry by creatively tapping into new regional markets, thereby expanding business relationships with other producers and supermarkets in the Caribbean. For these services to the Commonwealth of Dominica, you are today presented with the Meritorious Service Award.
Going up front now to receive his medal, Meritorious Service Award in the fields of agriculture and trade. He would have started at a very tender age if you hear his story. He's receiving his medal now. Recognition for Clyde Lester Ferrara. I'm sure Ainsworth, that organizations like DEXIA and other organizations involved in agriculture will be proud this morning, because so far we have had 1, 2, 3 recipients from agriculture, and there's another one as well.
Certainly, and I think this augurs well for Dominica development, and as we seek to have a resilient Dominica, I think agriculture and tourism, this linkage is going to chart the way forward in terms of economic development.
We hear so much about food security, especially in these times when we have...
Meritorious Service Award to Kevin Yahanan John Stevenson, Esquire. Whereas you have offered stellar leadership and scientific guidance for the advancement of the agricultural sector in the Commonwealth of Dominica and the Caribbean region, and whereas through your exceptional work in this sector since 1987 as an agronomist at the Windward Islands Banana Company, WINBAN, the General Manager of the Dominica Banana Marketing Corporation, DBMC, the Regional Project Specialist for the Caribbean region at the Inter-American Institute for Cooperation on Agriculture, ICA, and the International Specialist in Climate Resilience at the Inter-American Institute for Cooperation on Agriculture, ICA. You have instilled much pride in Dominicans here and abroad. And whereas you continue to contribute to the advancement of the agricultural sector in the Commonwealth of Dominica, especially in this challenging era of climate change and virulent plagues. For these services to the Commonwealth of Dominica, you are today presented with the Meritorious Service Award. Mr. Kevin Stevenson is unable to be with us today. We express our regrets, and Dr. Reginald Lafleur will receive on his behalf.
Agriculture and agronomy.
Meritorious Service Award to Martin Anthony Scotland, Esquire.
Esquire has been in the environmental health department for a very long time. He has made a tremendous contribution, in terms of the eradication of dengue in Dominica, and he has really worked tirelessly, and I think it's a signal honor here today that he is receiving this Meritorious Service Award.
Whereas you have diligently and selflessly served the Commonwealth of Dominica in the field of public health, and whereas by your example of industry and commitment to national development, you were instrumental in advancing key instruments that will facilitate sustainable environmental health practices in the Commonwealth of Dominica, including the Litter Act and the three-step Pan-American Health Program. And whereas you continue to be impressive in your active efforts to deliver the sector, serving as Chief Environmental Health Officer from 2010 to 2016, and continue post-retirement to serve as Public Health Consultant. For these services to the Commonwealth of Dominica, you are today presented with the Meritorious Service Award.
It is Martin Anthony Scotland for Environmental Health. He is receiving now today his Meritorious Service Award. He's also a sports enthusiast and certainly a well-deserving award here, accolade here for him this morning on our 42nd anniversary of independence, national observance ceremony right here at the State House on a beautiful Tuesday morning. Ivona.
Anthony Scotland, well deserved, former Chief Environmental Health.
2020 Services Medal of Honor for meritorious service to the Commonwealth of Dominica by His Excellency Charles Angelo Savre, DAH, President of the Commonwealth of Dominica. 2. Luther R. D. Martin, Esquire, Andrew Durand, Esquire, Timothy Moyes, Esquire, Miss Sonia Felix, Mervyn Alexander, Esquire. Whereas you have rendered meritorious service to the Commonwealth of Dominica, now therefore I, Charles Angelo Savre, President of the Commonwealth of Dominica, as aforesaid, by this my warrant do grant and confer on you the dignity and honor of the Services Medal of Honor, which I'm empowered to bestow on those persons who have rendered meritorious service to the Commonwealth of Dominica. And I do further order by this my warrant that you be awarded the Service Medal of Honor in recognition of your services to the Commonwealth of Dominica, given under my hand and the public seal of the Commonwealth of Dominica this 3rd day of November, 2020, President. Services Medal of Honor to Luther R. D. Martin, Esquire.
Oh yes, he has taught so many Dominicans, and
whereas you have rendered meritorious service to the Commonwealth of Dominica by your outstanding contribution in the field of education, and whereas throughout your teaching career, which spanned over 32 years, you displayed an unmatched level of commitment and dedication. And whereas, as a testament of your love and passion for developing our nation through education, although retired, you continue to serve the Commonwealth of Dominica as a facilitator of adult education literacy program at the Dominica State Prisons and the host of educational programs on Kyrie FM radio. For these services to the Commonwealth of Dominica, you are today presented with the Services Medal of Honor.
So Luther Martin now goes up front to receive his medal. Dressed in his black trousers and madras top, blue and green and white, the predominant colors, and his mask. Sir Luther, I'm sure when he looks around this room, he will realize that he taught quite a few individuals who are in here.
Oh yes, Sir Luther made a significant contribution to education, and as the citation read, he continues to serve diligently towards the further development of Dominica in terms of education.
Services Medal of Honor to Andrew Durand, Esquire.
Andrew Durand, of course, has been a tailor. He used to be my tailor at one stage. Actually, built all my police uniform. He continues to do his best for Dominica development in terms of the garment manufacturing, and certainly I think it's a signal honor here today to receive this accolade.
Whereas from a humble beginning, you founded Andrew's Tailor Shop, ventured abroad to enhance your skills and advance your prospects in the field of tailoring, and establish a reputation for your tailoring profession. And whereas for over 40 years you have rendered dedicated and meticulous service as a professional tailor who specialized in making uniforms and tunics for the upper echelons of the paramilitary of the Commonwealth of Dominica and the school children. And whereas throughout your tailoring career, you have developed a reputation for exquisite men's garments for weddings and special occasions, and maintained a regional clientele for special custom-made men's clothing. And whereas you have unselfishly imparted your tailoring skills to numerous young men and women in an effort to advance nation building through the sewing sector. For these services to the Commonwealth of Dominica, you are today presented with the Services Medal of Honor.
Yes, Andrew Durant, tailor who works right downtown Roseau, and he has been a tailor in excess of 40 years. He has worked tirelessly building uniforms for the police and the upper ranks of the police echelon, if you will. And certainly I think it's a well-deserved honor I've honored here this morning.
He looks quite dapper as well. I'm sure probably that he did his own
tailoring there. And certainly I think how well he's worked, and it's good that he can receive this Service Medal of Honor this morning right at the State House at our 42nd anniversary of independence in Dominica.
Services Medal of Honor to Timothy Moyes, Esquire.
He is from P.T. Savan, has been in the education field for a very long time, and also culture. And today he's receiving his accolade, Service Medal of Honor.
Once an educator, always an educator. It's also good that he's very much involved.
Whereas your enthusiasm and passion for the profession of teaching motivated you to render 38 years of diligent and selfless service in the field of primary education to pupils in the south of the Commonwealth of Dominica. And whereas in your quest to keep culture alive in your community, and by extension, the Commonwealth of Dominica, you became an active member of the Petit Savan Cultural Group. And whereas your commitment and fervent belief as a Catholic played a pivotal role in the teaching of your religious faith as a catechist and lay associate in pastoral care of the St. Patrick's Parish. For these services to the Commonwealth of Dominica, you are today presented with the Services Medal of Honor.
His medal, recognition for his contribution in the field of education and also in culture. Just received his medal now. Retired educator.
Yes. And how well he has worked in the P.D. Savan area to develop culture, added to his education and career. And certainly I think it's a well-deserved.
Services Medal of Honor to Miss Sonia Felix.
Cicero Award for community upliftment and altruism.
Yes, and she has been really working towards the enhancement of Dominica and the cleanliness around the city and around, and certainly Sonia continues to be a household name around the city of Roseau.
Whereas you have rendered meritorious service to the Commonwealth of Dominica by giving yourself altruistically passionately and generously to the upliftment of your community. And whereas for more than a decade, and very noticeably in the national cleanup effort immediately succeeding Hurricane Maria, you have used your leadership skills and your personal attributes, volunteering where and when no one seemed interested in doing so. Driven by the motto, the big picture is the greater good for our country. So successfully mobilize others to work towards the enhancement of the city of Roseau for the greater good, not for personal gain. And whereas you continue to be an example to others through your ongoing participation in the advancement of your community as the supervisor of the Roseau Litter Management Crew that serves Roseau Central, Bath Estate, Kings Hill, Stock Farm, Yampies, and Bellevue Roll. For these services to the Commonwealth of Dominica, you are today presented with the Services Medal of Honor.
Yes, the accolade here for Sonia Felix, who continues to do community upliftment, and certainly I think it's a good, well-deserving honor here this morning.
She's receiving her medal. Sonia Felix, Presidentship. She's receiving a medal. Services Medal of Honor.
And last but not least, we have Mervyn Alexander, the President of the Dominica Teachers Association for Education and Community.
Services Medal of Honor to Mervyn Alexander, Esquire.
The President of the Dominica.
The Dominica Association of Teachers, the DAT, making his way up front now to receive his medal. He's also very much involved in music as well.
Whereas you have been a model of dedication to service and commitment to nation building in the fields of education and community development. And whereas you have served for 43 years at various levels within the Ministry of Education, from the classroom to the office, serving as Assistant Education Officer with responsibility for music education and pioneering in the development of music education in our schools. A commitment to service that extends even today in your retirement, as you remain an example of dedication and patriotism in your role as President of the Dominica Association of Teachers, DAT, and whereas you have selflessly and steadfastly been active in developing your community through more than 40 years of service in the spiritual life of your fellow men, 46 years of contribution on the boards of St. Mary's Cooperative Credit Union Limited in Girondale and the Girondale Eggleston Consumer Cooperative Limited. For these services to the Commonwealth of Dominica, you are today presented with the Services Medal of Honor.
Alexander wait up front now to receive his medal, being recognized in the area, in the field of education and also community developments. Very well known as a musician.
Yes, Mervyn Alexander, of course, he's been in the teaching business in excess of 40 years. And I think he's retired now, but still president of the Dominica Association of Teachers. And certainly he's received his accolade. He continues to do his best in the music world, where he plays in the various choirs and churches, and certainly what the honor. So some 15 persons have been recipients of the national awards here today. We had the Cicero Award of Honor, 3 persons, including Stella LeBlanc. Then we had the Meritorious Service Award, some 7 persons received that, and the Service Medal of Honor, an additional 5. And I think that has brought the end of the proceedings or in terms of the recipients of national awards. And we should go to...
Thank you very much, Your Excellency, for honoring these persons who have rendered meritorious service to the Commonwealth of Dominica. At this time, we'll have a presentation, a song performed by Tasha Peltier.
A lovely day here, our 42nd anniversary of independence on Dominica. We had a 36th by His Excellency, by of course the Prime Minister of Dominica. And now we get set for the presentation here, or the patriotic song by Tasha Peltier, of course, our first female monarch, Calypso monarch on Dominica. I haven't seen her yet. We're still trying to get the music setting going, but Ivona, it has been a lovely day. Beautiful setting here at the State House. Of course, it's a new normal in the sense that we have had to have this activity sort of punctuated. Unusual so because usually on Independence Day you have the parade at the Windsor Park, but of course because of COVID-19 and all the protocols from the Ministry of Health, this activity had to be sort of curtailed or arranged in such a way to ensure that the protocols are established.
Oh, definitely. I mean, we have had to change a number of things to suit the times, and that's the new normal.
That's right.
These are the times, that's what we have to cope with, and that's what we are coping with, but we are doing it well. Because, as I said, it's always nice to be able to go to the stadium or wherever for this National Day observance. The stadium, of course, in recent years, it's nice when you can look around and see the stands filled with people and flags, you know, and the beautiful colors of Dominica.
That's
but
right.
we have had to change the way we do things. So it's a nice setting here. It's ambience.
Let me just say good morning to everybody before the performance, and happy 42nd independence to all of us here, all the Dominicans all over the world. So you can start it over, please. Yes. Dominic say I'm paying natty well. Everybody looks lovely today. Dominic say I'm paying natty well. It's our culture, so everybody should be happy. I see some frowning faces. Smile with your eyes. I know everybody have their masks on, but it's a beautiful day. That's the culture. That's our culture. Now here's some things about Dominica. Relax by a river, drink the purest water. We are the nature island Dominica. Woy, yo, yo, woy, woy. We value simplicity. Live up to a century. We are the nature. I love the Caribbean. Sulphur Springs, Boiling Lake. Come visit, you live with a smile. Hey. Waterfalls, rivers and beaches. Bring a friend, stay for a while. Listen to the jimping, mazouk and ting. Embrace our culture, belly and quadrille. Can dance and booyah, dance to the beat. Flirtation and sorties, the music sweet. Do you agree? Do you agree? That's our culture. Hey! That's the culture, Dominica culture. Hey, let us know. Most spontaneous carnival, we'll so swell, so we and all. We are the nature island Dominica. Woy, yo, yo, woy, woy. Black devils and senses, darkies and the band movie. We are the nature isle of the world. Emerald Pool, Jazz and Creole. Come visit, you live with a smile. Hey, T2 Gorge, Creole Festival. Bring two friends, stay for a while. sample we callaloo, big and codfish,
crab and sun coach,
cuisine you can't miss. Visit the escalator chair, glassy and screws, walk the national trails. We having a good time today no matter what. That's our culture. Dominic say up pay natty well. I want you to say it with me. Dominic say up pay natty well. Dominic. Dominic say up pay natty well. Y'all can do it better. Let me go. We sing it one more time. Sing the song. Dominic say up pay natty well. That's right. Even for the master I can hear you happy and well. Dominic say up pay natty well. That's what I'm talking about. Enjoy the rest of your independence, everybody. Happy independence.
Dominic Seope Natuel, of course, Tasha P, our first female monarch of Dominica.
At this time, we'll have the presentation of bouquets to Mrs. Clara Sovereign, wife of His Excellency, the President, and Honorable Melissa Skerritt, wife of Honorable Prime Minister.
It is here at the State House, followed by, we'll have a guard of honor, platoon of 20 men, 10 sergeants outside in the courtyard of the State House. And of course, from there we'll have some musical rendition by the government band, and His Excellency and the Prime Minister will make the exit. But certainly it has been a lovely activity here, started from about 9 o'clock this morning, just about coming up to 2 hours. We had the address to the nation by
Your
the Honorable
Excellencies,
Prime Minister, 36
Honorables,
minutes.
distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen,
key area.
we have now come to the end of our special program for the celebration of Independence 40th anniversary. And it's left for me to thank His Excellency Charles Sovereign and Mrs. Sovereign, Honorable Prime Minister and Honorable Skerritt, members of Cabinet, Speaker, His Lordship the Bishop for your attendance. Thank honorable members of Cabinet, members of the Diplomatic Corps, permanent secretaries, Pastor Rodney and Reverend Fraser. To thank in a very special way and congratulate the awardees who have received Meritorious Service Awards today. To thank our distinguished guests, members of the media, and all Dominicans who joined us at home and abroad for being with us this morning. It has been a wonderful celebration, and I thank you all for coming. At this time, we'll stand to allow His Excellency the President and Mrs. Sovereign, followed by Honorable Prime Minister Rusev Skerritt and Honorable Melissa Skerritt as they exit the...
Yes, well, we are all coming to the end of the ceremony here at the State House, of course, on Dominica's 42nd independence anniversary of independence. Dominica, of course, attained independence from 1978, and of course, we have had some challenges, but we've had some resilience also. And of course, His Excellency is making his way out, as of course, he'll be taking the salute at the Guard of Honor. Some 20 men and 10 sergeants will be
could just follow the order of sitting.
And of course,
thank you again for
Prime Minister
joining
will
us.
follow, and there will be some musical rendition. But it was a very good activity here this morning. We had this Prime Minister of Dominica, Honorable Roosevelt Spirit, giving a 36-minute address to the nation. He touched on some very key areas. He touched on the question of the development of the international airport. And of course, from the 1st of December, I think he indicated that the airport development program will get into action. And some 3 months down the road, in the first quarter of 2021, we should see the start of that long-awaited airport. And the Prime Minister really touched on some key areas on health. He talked about 500 climate resilience, 5,000 climate resilience homes for Dominica. Of course, 1,000 has already been built. He talked about COVID-19 and the continue to enjoy our independence.
Congratulations, sir. In healthcare in particular. You have been there when probably you have many vehicles travel far what makes the well, I
Congratulations, Clyde Ferrara. Of course, you have done a lot for agriculture, taking in from your father, Clement Ferrara, who did a lot from St. Joseph and for Dominica in terms of agriculture. How do you feel having received that award today?
Thank you very much. Well earned. My love for agriculture and my passion for farming and export. And I always say, if you don't love something, leave it alone. You only succeed and enjoy your fruits when you love something.
We have so many challenges confronting our economic development, agriculture, of course. I mean, we talk a lot now about food security. Where do you see us in all of this?
Dominica is well placed. I think we have a good agriculture base and we have a lot of families doing farming. We can never run short of food in Dominica. Not at all. We can never. And we are proud of ourselves for supplying the entire region with agriculture produce. We do well in that business.
So you're optimistic, of course, that we will press on, even amidst the challenges.
Of course we are. We are pressing on and we will succeed. And we will be ahead of all the others in agriculture.
Let me say congratulations to you again. Happy Independence.
Thank you very much, and you too.
Thank you.
Yes, well, Ivona, we have had, quite a few of the recipients talking to us, and certainly it has been.
I want to speak with. I think it's Mr. Moses.
Mr. Moses, educator, careful, yes. Where is Mr. Moses? Has he left? Sorry, I'm sorry about that. Mr. Moses, yes.
Moses it's picture time for Mr. Moses.
Yes, okay, it's Kodak moment.
I see it's a picture time for a lot of young ladies in particular, the work yet.
Oh yes, indeed.
Nice background for your independence pics.
Yes.
And
so Mr. Moses
is the man we are going to speak.